Hi guys, this is Ivy from Womply here to show you how to fill out the second round Paycheck Protection Program form powered by Harvest to hopefully make things a little bit easier. In this particular video, we're going to focus specifically on non-employer companies, meaning that you're an individual contractor, sole proprietor, etc. So, first things first, you're going to end up on a page that looks just like mine. So, as you can see, there are two different options. You can click Start New Application or Continue Application. In our particular case, we're going to go ahead and click Start New Application. On this particular screen, what you're going to do is enter in the email address associated with your account, and then go ahead and press Send Email. After that point in time, you're going to receive an email directly from notifications@ventures.go.com. This is actually directly Harvest. This is going to give you the opportunity to be able to copy and paste the link directly to your application into the system so you can go ahead and get started. After you copy and paste that link, you'll end up on a page that looks just like mine. It'll ask you the question, do you already have an existing funded loan with us? Yes or no? In my case, we're going to go ahead and click no and continue with our application. So we've got a couple of different pieces of info we're going to fill out here. So first, we're going to fill out our first name, last name, email address, phone number. That way they have the opportunity to be able to get a hold of you in case they have any questions, comments, or concerns with your particular account. After that point in time, it's going to ask you the question, is this a second draw PPP loan? Meaning that you have received the PPP loan that was issued last year. In our particular case, for the sake of this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and click yes. As you guys can see, that changes the application a tiny bit, and we have this new tab that says second draw. We're going to go through that together. Now, it's going to ask us for a whole bunch of information. We're going to enter in our business name, our DBA, doing business as name if that's applicable to you, tax ID type, EIN or SSN. EIN is your employer identification number, and SSN is your social security number. In our particular case, where we are acting as an individual, like an independent contractor, we're going to go with an SSN. After that, it's going to have you enter in your SSN directly into the system, and this will function as your tax ID for the remainder of this particular demonstration. As always, any and all information that we show you guys directly in a demonstration like this is falsified. That way we can try to give you the best experience possible. After that, you're going to enter in the date, the month, and the year in which you started your business. Your NAICS code. That's okay if you don't know what your NAICS code is. It happens to everybody. If you don't know what it is, if you don't remember, go ahead and click on this little question mark right here. This will give you the opportunity to look up your NAICS code directly in the system. Please write that down. You'll actually need it for a portion of the application later. So, as you guys can see, it's not set. Instead, we're going to click on that drop down. Let's go ahead and find our NAICS code. It'll only allow you to type in the first 3 letters, so then you're going to scroll down and find the one that fits you and your particular business. In my case, it's marketing consulting services. After that, we're going to continue just a little bit farther. It's going to have your entity type, whether that's sole proprietorship, self-employed individual, tenants in common, tribal business, etc. You're going to scroll up and find the option that's going to be the most applicable to you. In my case, I'm going to click independent contractor because that's the best for me in this particular situation. And then we're going to enter in our business phone number. That way, in case, again, if anybody has questions, comments, or concerns, they can reach out to us directly. After that, we're going to enter in the business address associated with the particular business in question. That way, again, in case they do have questions, comments, concerns, they can reach out to us directly, and they can also verify the validity of the business. Francisco. State is California. And your zip code, 94104. Now, we filled out the street, the city, the state, and the zip code. The next important thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to click on this little house button right here. Why is this important, you guys ask? This allows the system to be able to verify the address in question, make sure it's 100% accurate, and it allows you to be able to bypass some additional steps on the back end. It's super beneficial. Please make sure that you hit this button. After you've done that, we're going to fill out a couple more questions. So it's got your franchise, if applicable. If you are a franchise, please enter that in here. And then it's got your loan purpose. You can use this PPP loan for payroll costs, utilities, covered property damage, covered worker protection expenditures, other, rent and mortgage interest, covered operations expenditures, and covered supplier costs. Please click anything and everything that's applicable to you in your particular case here that you're going to be using this Paycheck Protection Program loan for. In my case, I'm only going to click payroll costs because that's most applicable to me. After you've made sure that everything's correct, you've made sure you hit that little house button, we're going to press next. This is going to take you to your second draw loan information. Now, this is really important. What you're going to want to do is look into your tax documents from last year and find the information for your PPP application from last year. You're going to need the loan number and the total loan amount in which you received. That way, you can try to fill out this to the best of your ability. In my case, let's go ahead and do it together. So we're going to enter in the loan number. We're going to enter in the loan amount. We're going to look at the comparison time period. Now, with this one, this is a little bit funky. Why is this a little bit funky? It's because this particular line right here is where you're going to be entering in your information for 2020. This is what you're comparing it against. So now we're going to pick the comparison time period between the two sections. So, do you want that to be over Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, the full year? Note, this should be 25% less than the corresponding quarter review below. So in my case, we're going to enter in 10,000. And our comparison time period, again, we're going to go ahead and compare Q3 to Q3. And our gross receipts from the year previous was 20,000. So as you can see, there's at least a 25% difference between the two. We're looking at the comparison of these two periods. It has to be at least 25% less. After you verify that you filled out this information, we're going to go ahead and go to loan details. Now, this section has two different things we're going to fill out together. First, it's going to have you click here to download the Paycheck Protection Program application, and second, we're going to fill out an Excel calculator together. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up the Harvest application that we're going to fill out together. It looks just like this. Now, we're going to fill this out together. So you guys can see up here at the top, it's got all of our information, and let's go through this step by step. First, it's going to have us check the type of business that we are. If you're a sole proprietor, partnership, C Corp, S Corp, LLC. In our case, we're going to hit independent contractor. Next, if you have a DBA or trademark, if applicable, enter that here. Your business legal name, address, EIN or SSN, business phone number, business address, primary contact, and email address. After that, it's going to ask you for some little pieces of information. It's going to have you enter in the average monthly payroll. This is the average amount that you spend in a month on particular payroll costs. You're going to take that amount and times it by 2.5, and then you're going to add in your EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, if that's applicable in your case. If it's not, that's totally okay. And that'll enter into this box right here. Once you've verified that all the information in those two boxes is correct, we're going to click on number of employees. In my case, where I'm an individual contractor, I'm going to go ahead and enter in 1. After that, it has a couple of purposes for the loan. We're going to go ahead and click the one that's going to be best applicable for me. In my case, that's payroll. After that, we're going to fill out a little bit more information. It'll ask us for the owner name, their title, ownership, EIN or SSN. Again, remember we're an independent contractor. We went ahead and put in our SSN and our address. Then it has a whole bunch of questions that we're going to fill out together. You're going to hit yes or no. Starting at the top and working our way down. Is the applicant and the owner of the applicant presently suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, is voluntarily excluded from participation in this transaction by any federal department or agency, or presently involved in any bankruptcy? You're going to click yes or no. Next, has the applicant and the owner of the applicant or any business owned or controlled by any of them ever obtained a direct or guaranteed loan from the SBA or any other federal agency that is currently delinquent or has defaulted in the last 7 years and caused a loss to the government? We're going to click yes or no. Is the applicant or any owner of the applicant an owner of any other business or have common management with any other business? If yes, list all such businesses and describe the relationship on a separate sheet. In my case, that's not applicable as we are an independent contractor. Next, has the applicant received an SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL loan, between January 31st, 2020 and April 3rd, 2020? If yes, provide the details on a separate sheet. Again, in my case, we're going to go ahead and click no. Next, is the applicant, if an individual or any individual owning 20% or more of the equity of applicant, subject to an indictment, criminal information, arraignment, or by other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction or presently incarcerated or on probation or parole? Again, we're going to click no, and we're going to make sure that we initial next to this question to confirm your response. Within the last 5 years, for any felony, has the applicant, if an individual or any owner of the applicant, been convicted, pleaded guilty, pleaded nulla contendere, been placed under pretrial diversion, had been placed on any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? Again, I'm going to click no, and we're going to initial here to confirm our response to question number 6. Number 7, is the United States the principal place of residence for all employees of the applicant included in the applicant's payroll calculation above? I'm going to go ahead and hit yes because I am in the United States. Is the applicant a franchise that's listed in the SBA's franchise directory? Again, we're going to click yes or no, and in my case, we're going to click no. Next, we're going to scroll down. It states, by signing below, you make the following representations, authorizations, and certifications. So you're certifying the following: that you've read the statements included in the form, that the applicant is eligible to receive a loan under the rules in effect at the time of the application has been submitted that have been issued by the SBA. The applicant is an independent contractor, eligible self-employed individual, or sole proprietor that employs no more than the greater of 500 employees, or if applicable, the size, standard, and the number of employees established by the SBA. I will comply whenever applicable with the civil rights and other limitations in the form. All SBA loan proceeds will be used only for business-related purposes as specified in the loan application and consistent with the Paycheck Protection Program rule. To the extent feasible, I will purchase only American-made equipment and products. The applicant is not engaged in any activity that is illegal under federal, state, or local law. Any loan received by the applicant under Section 7B2 of the Small Business Act between January 31st, 2020 and April 3rd, 2020 was for a purpose other than paying payroll costs and other allowable loans under the Paycheck Protection Program rule. Next, we're going to look at the following. For the applicants who are individuals, I authorize the SBA to request criminal information about me from criminal justice agencies for the purpose of determining my eligibility. Then we're going to make a whole bunch of certifications. We need to initial next to every single one over on the left-hand side. Starting at the top, you certify that the applicant was in operation on February 15th, 2020, and had employees for whom it paid salaries or paid independent contractors. The current economic uncertainty makes this loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the applicant. The funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage interest payments, lease payments, utility payments as specified under the Paycheck Protection Program rule. And you understand that if the funds are knowingly used for unauthorized purposes, the federal government may hold be legally liable for charges such as fraud. The applicant will provide to the lender documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees on the applicant's payroll, as well as the dollar amounts for all of the payroll costs, covered mortgage interest payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities for the 8-week period. You understand that loan forgiveness will be provided for the sum of documented payroll costs, covered mortgage interest payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities, and not more than 25% of the forgiven amount may be used for non-payroll costs. During the period beginning on February 15th and ending on December 31st, 2020, the applicant has not and will not receive another Paycheck Protection Program loan. You further certify that the information provided in this application and the information provided in all supporting documents and forms is true and accurate in all material respects. That you understand that knowingly making a false statement to obtain a guaranteed loan from the SBA is punishable under the law. And you acknowledge that the lender will confirm the eligible loan amount using the required documents submitted, and that you understand and acknowledge that the lender can share any and all tax information that you've provided with the SBA's authorized representatives. Now, we filled out all of this information together. You're going to enter in your signature, you're going to print your name below that, you're going to enter in today's date, and your title as the owner. After you fill out all of that information, it has a couple more pages on the application. Basically, it goes over what the purpose of the form is, instructions for completing the form itself, and then, of course, all of the legal jargon, such as the Privacy Act, Disclosure of Information, Debt Collection Act, Occupational Safety and Health Act, Civil Rights Act, Equal Credit Opportunity Act, etc. Once you've filled out this application to the best of your ability, we're going to go up here to the top, we're going to go ahead and click Save, and we're going to exit out of it. We've entered in our information for the loan application, and now that it's completed, we're going to find it on our computer by clicking Select File. Brings up my computer right here. I'm going to go to my documents. We're going to find that PDF, and we're going to go ahead and open that here. Takes a couple seconds to upload. You can make sure that's correct. And it says PPP Harvest Corrected right here. That's what I named it. You guys can see it. It's in the form officially. Next, it's going to ask us to click and download the Excel calculator to help calculate the loan amount. Now that we've officially opened up the application, let's work through this together. First, when you officially download the calculator, as you can see at the bottom, there are multiple pages. You only need to fill out the portion of the calculator that is directly applicable in your particular instance. Where we are filling out a second draw Paycheck Protection Program loan, we're not going to fill out the first draw. We're going to go to the tab that says second draw down here at the bottom. Then we're going to scroll up. There's a couple of pieces of information in here. There are 3 different sections. There's a section for non-seasonal business, seasonal business, and new business, simply meaning that they've been without 12 months of payroll but in operation on 2/15 of 2020. So, we're officially in here. We've been in business since 2012, and we're not seasonal, so we're going to fill out the non-seasonal business section. Starting at the top, so we can see, is your business in the accommodation and food service sector? If so, we're going to enter in a yes or a no simply here at the top. Next, it's going to ask for the total payroll cost for either 2019 or 2020 for employees residing in the United States, inclusive of employer-paid state and local taxes. So let's go ahead and enter that directly in here. Number of employees earning over $100,000 a year on an annual basis. Remember, we're an individual contractor, so that's not applicable in my case. So we're going to leave that blank. Next, the total payroll expenses for the employees earning over $100,000 from the row above. Again, we're an independent contractor. It's not applicable to us. Next, if you filed the 1040 Schedule C, we're going to enter in the information from line 31. So we're going to enter in my information from line 31. And then we have the next one. It says if the business is a partnership, complete the partnership tab. Again, where we're an independent contractor, that's not applicable in my particular case. After that, it has down here at the bottom the information we're going to use on the following page. It says enter this amount under average monthly payroll in the application. So we're going to minimize this. We're going to enter that in right here where it said 6667. Okay, 6667, 6667. After that, it automatically times it by 2.5, and it should be 16667. Let's go ahead and check our calculator. 16667. Awesome. After that, we're going to go up here to the top, just like last time. We're going to click Save, and we're going to exit out. After that, as you can see, it has a couple more pieces of information. But first, we're going to click right here where it says Select File. We need to upload that calculator that we did together. So we're going to take that calculator, we're going to click on it, we're going to upload it directly into the system. That way they can verify our math as well. After that, it says there's a certification bucket. Please do not forget to click this before moving forward. I certify that the information contained in completing the loan calculator regarding employee counts and compensation is true and accurate. Please click this before moving forward. It does ask you if you have an idle loan, if do not include an idle advance, and your idle loan number if that's applicable here. In our particular case, it's not applicable, so we're going to go ahead and click Next. After that, it's going to ask us for our job details and tax returns. So first, it's going to ask us for the current number of employees. Where it's just us, we enter in 1. The employees last year. Where it's just us, it's just us. After that, it's going to ask for our tax filings. As you can see, this is all of the tax documentation that's necessary, and it's broken down by different types of businesses. In our particular case, where we're independent contractors, we're going to upload the Form 1040 Schedule C and the 1099 MISC. If you're a sole proprietor, you'll upload your Form 1040 Schedule C directly in here. So, let's go ahead. We're going to click right here where it says Select Files. In my documents, you guys can see I've got my 1040 Schedule C right there. We're going to go ahead and upload that. It takes a couple of seconds for it to go into the system. We're going to click one more time. We're going to find our Form 1099 MISC. We've got both of those here in the system, and we're going to click Next. Almost there, guys. After that, it's going to ask us for owner information. As you can see, there are 5 different owner tabs. That's okay. That's for individuals who have more than one owner in the business. Where it's just us, because we do not employ other employees, we're literally just by ourselves, we're only going to fill out the information on owner number 1. So that's going to be our first name, last name, ownership percentage, job title. We're going to scroll down a little bit and find the one that's applicable for us. Again, I always default to owner. SSN. Like I mentioned before a couple of times in the video, any and all information that we show you right here is falsified to be able to make these videos as accurate as possible and help you guys fill out the applications themselves. Phone number, email address, and then we're going to enter in our street address one more time. Now, this address is actually for you, not for the business itself. This is your home address. This is associated with you as a person. In my particular case, they're absolutely identical, so it makes it really easy. Just like last time, please make sure that you go ahead and hit this house button so that it can verify that address in the system and save you a whole lot of headache later. Last couple of things, we're going to fill out our demographics. So we're going to select our gender, our veteran status, our race, and our ethnicity. That way we've got all of that information here. And the last thing it's going to ask you to upload is going to be a driver's license. Please make sure that you can see the entire license, all of the edges, that you can actually see that it is in color and nothing is blurry. This will help speed up the process for you on the back end as they're verifying all information. So I've got my information right here. It takes a couple of seconds for that to go into the system, and then we're going to press next. So you guys can see 2, 3, 4, 5. We do not have to fill out that information because we are by ourselves. After that, we can enter in any and all comments if you choose to be able to add a comment directly onto this particular application. And of course, you can go back, double check every single form to ensure that everything is filled out to the best of your ability. Once you feel like you are ready to go, you can go ahead and press Submit My Application. After you go ahead and hit Submit My Application, what's going to happen from here is it takes a couple of seconds. That way it says Submission is successful. It'll take you to a page that looks just like mine, where it says we will be contacting you regarding your application. If you have questions about your application, please contact this particular website. The other cool thing with this is you're actually going to be receiving an email that gives you additional next steps, any potential questions, comments, or concerns they may have about your application to help you get through the process as quickly as possible. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us directly.